supply chain and our prices. So we know that basically now we actually don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people, say that whoever can find out what's in Trump's mind could really win a big prize like Nobel Prize or something, because you don't know what Mr. President Trump going to do. It's very unpredictable. However, I honestly don't think it's that unpredictable. Why? Because President Trump is very, very easy to read when you really look at the three-dimensional negotiation model I have talked to you. And that is tactical, strategic, and technical. The let's figure out that which one is he using. Is he really three-dimensional negotiator? I mean, he definitely believes that he's the best negotiator and deal maker there is, and that's exactly how he's sold to all of us, that he is the best negotiator. But the reality is he's only one type of negotiator, and that is called tactical negotiator. He does not use any strategy. And it's so abundantly clear right now that he does not have a strategy. If it's not clear to some people yet, then they can really live in that fallacy. But with all what's going on in geopolitics and all what's going on in all the countries and all the stakeholders, I will be doing a stakeholder analysis as well. But reality is that this is really a very clear, very bookcase when it comes to tactical negotiation. Mr. Trump, President Trump, has only one dimension, and that is using tactics to do the deal making. And we will talk a little bit detail in a moment. And then basically let's negate that. Does he use any strategic negotiation? Well, if he would be using strategic negotiation, then he would be looking at the bigger picture. He would be thinking ahead. He would be really analyzing that how much stockpile of ammunition we have and how much we have used and what's really in the pipeline and what's the lead time, and then what will be the ramification if the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Then he wouldn't say that we are surprised that Arab countries are attacked by Iran. Even though the bases are attacked, and who would not think that apparent thing that if we attack Iran, then Iran would basically attack our assets in the region. I mean, that's really class one level negotiation and understanding, and the basic level leadership. So I think he really missed the point on overall understanding the strategy and having the long-term strategy. I think he only had one strategy, and that is what tactics and power he has in his hand, and he's going to use that tactics and powers, and it's going to be a shock and awe, and they're going to be in and out. And that's exactly what he was sold on by Bibi Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister. It was, and I think it's some of that news is coming and some will come, that how Bibi Netanyahu really sold to President Trump that we're going to go in, we're going to destroy their leadership, we're going to destroy their some sort of infrastructure, we're going to really demolish their capability, and then the regime change is going to happen, everything will be hunky-dory. None of that happened, by the way. And then, since there was lack of strategy and role playing, then basically it does not have any strategic direction. So let's take that out. So he, in the three dimensions, one dimension was totally empty, and that bucket was strategic negotiation, and that was empty. And then the other bucket could be technical negotiation, which basically deals with all kind of technical evaluation of your assets, your allies, your stakeholder analysis correctly, and then basically understanding more so enemy's capabilities than your own capability. And we do know very clearly now that we absolutely missed the mark on that, because we did not know that what kind of tunnels they were in and how they protected their capabilities and what capabilities they had. So we did not have a very good idea of our own technologies and the reach of technologies, let alone understanding the enemy's technologies. So we did not understand enemy's capabilities and technologies, and then we also did not even know that what would be our lead time to replenish the stockpile and what limitation our technologies have. We were under the impression that our technologies are endless, absolutely endless, and nobody can really stand in front of us. But reality is, we absolutely did not understand enemy's capabilities. So we are not really capable of doing the technical negotiation either. So we are only left with tactics. And that is really how President Trump deal with every single thing. He believed that he has tactics, which he called a deal making. He only understands deal making as a, as binary approach, as straight line relationship. It's not really. He's not understanding parabolic. I mean, it's a mathematical term, engineering term, that you would really have one to one straight line, negotiation, or do you really have a complicated issue where you have like a parabolic, quadratic mathematical equation? Is it really a straight line equation, or is it a quadratic mathematical parabolic equation? And I think it hasn't even come close to him to understand the parabolic relationship, the comprehensive relationship, the multidimensional and complicated relationship in negotiation. He only thought it'll be a shock and awe. We have the power. And when you do have an absolute power and you have shock and awe, you may be able to uh, influence many of your enemies, and so they may be afraid, and they basically get out of it, and they just bow to the power. But that does not happen all the time. Iranian, on one hand, did not care whether they win or lose. They just do not want to live in humility. They are a nation of, you know, centuries over centuries history. And matter of fact, this is a thousands of years old civilization, and they have not been ruled by any other outside power. So these guys are also the follower of Imam Hussein, Razilullah Ta'ala anhu, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who gave his life, but he did not bow in front of, humiliating, disrespectful, despicable power, which was Yazid. So these guys are descendant of that, their grandson of Prophet Muhammad, and they strictly believe in that we will die with respect than being humiliated by an outside, aggressor. So that's one side. But then on the other hand, they very well prepared themselves for decades for this war. They have built, they have built all kind of tunnels. They have built all kind of those technologies which are not extremely complicated. They are simple, cost effective, and very, quick lead time, homegrown, and yet abundant. So it's
Unknown cost.
easy for them to replenish and build in house. What a great thing! And then they have better alliances which may be hidden, which is with China and Russia, and even other countries like Korea, and many other countries which are not apparent. They built that, and now with what they have stood for so far, they actually are going to come out stronger and build even more alliances. And then we did not also comprehend fully that what would be the fate of State of Hormuz and how it can impact global economy and upset the whole globe. So that being said, now let me come back to the supply chain challenge, and what is really playing out. Well, unfortunately, um, President Trump don't really have any solution, even though he's desperate for a solution because that's going to impact his ability to govern and get, I mean, any respect in the world and have the economy, even local economy, under control. and then having a very big threat of losing election if this continues. And unfortunately, the prices that keep rising domestically in the United States. It's not just the oil prices, but we know that there are so many direct derivatives of oil, and then there are everything else, all commodities, all daily living has impact of gasoline prices. So that being said, we really cannot control the cost, the prices, cost index and commodity pricing. We just can't control it if this continue, and then we're going to have a shortage of supply. So this is really a very major, big deal on supply chain. Not only we are restricted of the supply chain, but it's also our ability to purchase and afford is going to be really very, very uh, very big deal for everybody, including Americans. So that's another mark we have missed. We said, we have a lot of petroleum and we don't really need to worry about anything else. People can come buy from us, but we do not understand that we live in a global village. And when you live in a global village and you're buying, so many things, from China and, all across the globe, you just can forget about controlling prices. It's just not going to happen. So we live really in a global village, and we have to really think about the entire global village. And then, of course, let's look at the stakeholder analysis so we can see that what's going to really happen in a short to long term. And so the first stakeholder really is America. The second one is Iran, then Israel, and then, of course, Pakistan, China, Russia, and the rest of the Gulf countries and the whole globe. All these are stakeholders. So let's look at who really would like to see this war uh, end. The most important country which would like to see the war really end is America. America desperately needs this war to end, and we have already talked about that, how the impact of elections and prices and all those things going to be disastrous if war does not end soon. Which country which really absolutely will be harmed if the war ends, and that is Israel. Israel has a zero benefit of war ending, because if the war ends, Bibi Netanyahu is going to be very much weakened and he will lose his power. So, and he's in control and he doesn't want to lose control. I don't know about Israel, but Bibi Netanyahu for sure will be very negatively impacted if the war ends. If war continue, he just can't continue his regime, and then he can stay under the rug. If war stop, it also going to be impact another way on Bibi Netanyahu, because American public is really waking up and thinking that why the heck we are fighting for Israel, and why are we giving money to Israel? This actually harm us in the region. It create more harm than benefit, and this absolute tables are turning. And so Bibi Netanyahu, in the long run, if the war ends soon, it's going to be the most important entity that will be harmed. And but if war doesn't end, he still would be losing ground. So either way, Israel and especially Bibi Netanyahu is going to be a loser. So the biggest loser will be Israel. The second biggest loser is really America, unfortunately, if especially we do not use our wisdom and don't if we don't make the deal quickly. The other, of course, loser are the Gulf region, those all those countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. These are losers because they had their all of their eggs in one basket in with America. And if the America is a loser and not really the protector of the region, and it's basically Iran is going to emerge as a winner, and hence China going to emerge as a winner. Russia will be another, winner on this thing. And then that being said, that American role will be diminishing, and either these Gulf countries realign themselves with China, Russia, and Iran, or they will have regime change. And I think honestly, they could have regime change either way. So this is going to be a very big instability in the region. And then if the war stop and have some sort of protections in the MOU for different states, then I think that's the best case scenario. People say, well, sometimes having no deal is better deal. Yes, that would be the case for President Trump. If President Trump think, hey, we have halted this war on, by the request of Pakistanis, we can probably make this up, but the problem with that would be there will be a continuous disruption of State of Hormuz. There will be continuous rise of prices. There will be continuous shortage of supply. There will be continuous war, here and there, and there will be big instability, and you will not see things going in normal situation. So that's not good. And then if the MOU is signed, and it's not just about nuclear, nuclear is only the one dimension, but stability of the region is the other very big dimension, which is forgotten. So in the stakeholder analysis, it is in better interest of all Gulf countries and America and Iran and even Pakistan that the war stops. And everybody, the whole globe, even India, Bangladesh, European countries who are getting the supply through Strait of Hormuz will benefit from it. The only country, like I said, who do not benefit as much as other countries from the heart of war, and that is Israel. And that's Israel, unfortunately, is continue going to, advocate for of this confusion, because the confusion help Israel. So anyway, that being said, I hope that we have a better understanding. I still believe that sanity is eventually going to prevail, because endless war is not in favor of America and American allies except Israel. And America has to come to this reality sooner than later. And sooner that reality comes in, and I hope with Congress meddling in and 60 days coming to close on May 1st, and President Trump has to go to the Congress and seek some sort of approval. I hope he get pressurized to make the deal, and the deal is reasonable enough that it's not just only on nuclear, but also stability of the region. And I guess that is really the only good solution. And then in the State of Hormuz, last point, you're definitely going to have a toll, and that toll may just be taken by Iran and Oman, because they both really have a control of State of Hormuz, because State of Hormuz is 21 mile, and each 12 side miles is local. It's not really international waters, but it is controlled by the country. So then Oman and Iran really jointly control the State of Hormuz. But again, I think America has blocked it, and America would like to have the piece of it. Maybe they will have a deal where America also get the piece of the action. So there will be, three sides of the stakeholders instead of two. So it will be Iran, Oman, and America getting the piece of the pie from the toll. And unfortunately, you will have higher energy prices, but then the abundant availability will make the prices come to some, lower level, definitely lower than the $100 mark right now. Yes, it will be another dollar a barrel of toll and maybe higher insurances, but still it would be more in 70s than $100, maybe 70, low 70, 71, 72. And again, the last point, if that happens and war comes to some sort of a halt right now, it will still take 6 months to a year to get the situation to back to normal, and maybe a little longer, because some new capabilities have to be rebuilt because of all the damage because of the war. May God make it easy and bless you all. Thank you very much.